welcome to our top 10 quick comic picks. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and this is our real quick show where we show you some of the biggest and best books that you can get in your local comic book store this week. Coming out Wednesday now. Just that's a public service announcement now. If your store used to put out DC stuff on Tuesday and then everything else on Wednesday, everything has moved to Wednesday now. So these are the books you can grab Wednesday, and you can go ahead and order them over at infinityflux.net. So let's get into this big week of books.
Yeah, we're going to start with the big one, Absolute Power #1. This is the first issue of DC's big event. Amanda Waller has maybe sowed some distrust amongst the superheroes with the public, and she is also deploying some Amazo robots to steal all of the heroes' powers, because she says that these heroes, with all their powers, are running amok and they're unchecked. So very, very awesome issue. I absolutely loved it. There's going to be several tie-ins that we'll talk about over the next couple of weeks, but yeah, highly, highly recommended.
First up for me is Scarlett #2. So continuing our Energon universe, we've got Scarlett #1, then Destro, and we're back over to Scarlett as she has not necessarily infiltrated the Arashikage, more she has been captured by them. So you've got to find out how she gets out of that, and if she wants to earn their trust, she has to do a special mission for them, which sounds like a death mission, but we'll have to read it to find out. So that is Scarlett #2.
And next is Spider-Man Reign 2 #1, the sequel to the infamous Spider-Man Reign miniseries from several years ago. This is set in the future where Peter Parker is a very old man. He's being held prisoner, I think, and hooked up to this kind of Matrix-type machine where he believes he's living a life with Mary Jane. But a young character named Kitty Cat comes in and rescues him, and says that they need his help because the web system from the first miniseries is back online, preventing people from leaving the city, and they need Spider-Man's help to take it down.
Does he have that long beard?
Yes, he does.
Good. Next up, I've got Annihilation 2099 #1. This is going to be a weekly series for the next couple of weeks, focusing on a different 2099 character, but kind of a space version of those. In this first one, we have two stories. The main story, we follow Nova 2099, who is the last remaining Nova on a very Old West type planet when some bad hombres come to town, and he's going to have to deal with them. But who is this final Nova, and how did they get to this spot? And then we have another story in here which features Dracula 2099. So you'll have to read that to find out how he is around then. But I thought this was a really cool addition to the 2099 universe.
And next up, we've got Wolverine Deep Cut #1. This is another retro series. This one takes place after the events of Uncanny X-Men #246. In that issue, Wolverine left the X-Men to go take care of a personal matter. Well, this series tells us what that personal matter was. And this issue in particular sees Wolverine fighting Sabretooth on his birthday, just as he always does every year. But maybe there's something a little bit off about Sabretooth, and maybe that's going to lead him into conflict with some other classic X-Men villains.
Next up, we have a new Star Wars series starting, a mini-series. This is Star Wars Inquisitors #1. And in this, if you know the Inquisitors, they are the Empire's Jedi hunting kind of task force. And there is a certain Jedi by the name of Tensu Run who has eluded them, and for a very specific reason, they want to take him out in particular. So who is this guy, and what links will they go to destroy him? You'll have to find out in here.
And next up is Batman #150. This is a slightly oversized issue, and there are two stories in this. In the main story, it's just a one-and-done story of one of Catwoman's former henchmen shopping around the notion that he knows who Batman really is. And you would think that everybody would be jumping at the chance to get that information, but maybe they have their reasons for not wanting to know. And in the backup story, it is an Absolute Power tie-in, and we learn a little bit more about something that Amanda Waller has that we didn't find out about in Absolute Power #1, and Batman realizes that he needs to get that thing from her, and that is what the Batman series is going to be, that's what he's going to be doing in the Batman series during the Absolute Power event.
Next up for me, we have Life of Wolverine. Now, what is this? This is a one-shot that tells the whole life story of Wolverine, or at least some of the highlights of it, from his very early days all the way until present. And what's really cool about this is at the end of it, it basically tells you panel by panel which series they pulled that from and kind of what the issue looks like and all of that. So if there's a certain moment in his life, you're like, I don't remember reading that, you can know where to go find it. So this is great for new readers or longtime readers of Wolverine who want a little more in-depth look at him. So very cool one shot right here.
And last for me is the Amazing Spider-Man Annual. This is part 2 of the Infinity Watch storyline, but you could actually kind of read this on its own without connecting it to that larger story, because in this one, Spider-Man takes on Overtime, who is the person that is bonded with the Time Stone, and Overtime wants to help Spider-Man with something that maybe he kind of messed up a couple days prior, but it's one of those where he goes back, tries to fix it, doesn't work, has to go back again and again and again, and something different happens every time. It was actually a really cool, almost one and done story, and only the last page or two ties into the Infinity Watch story. So if you're not reading that, but you are reading Amazing Spider-Man, this is actually a pretty good story.
Lastly for me, I've got Thundercats Cheetara, number 1. This is a new mini-series, I'm not sure how long this is, but this does tell the story of Cheetara before they left Thundera, ended up on Third Earth. Who was she? What is her ties to the other Thundercats? And what is her relationship with Lion-O back then? It's a lot of kind of secrets uncovered of Cheetara if you're a big Thundercats fan. And that is it for our top 10 quick comic picks. Thank you so much for watching. Head over to infinityflux.net right now where you can order these books. They are already live up there while supplies last. So head on over there and fill up your cart with a lot of fun reads.
Buy everything.
Buy everything. We said it. And we've got our longer show coming up where we'll be going over these books plus their variants and a lot more coming up very soon. So stay tuned for that as well. And until next time, see ya.